Hey guys, this is Ghost Queen. And welcome back to another episode of Dirt Cheap Cosplay. Honestly, who is surprised that this thing is actually getting continued? Because I sure am. I honestly thought I wasn't gonna do this series after the whole Team Skull thing ended, because I had no ideas after that, but surprisingly, we're still here. Let's see how much longer we can do this. Anyway, in this episode, I'm going to be attempting, keyword attempting, to make Eraserhead's goggles, and Eraserhead from My Hero Academia, that is. And yeah, I literally have no plan, so that's probably a bad sign. I did do some research ahead of time, and by research I mean Googling a bunch of pictures of him and kind of staring at his goggles for like 2 hours. Yeah, I have no idea how those things work and how I'm gonna pull this off, but I think I've got the gist of what I'm gonna try to do. First off, after staring at his goggles for 2 hours, I came up with 3 main shapes of his goggles that pretty much build the entire thing. This thing, which goes on the top and the bottom levels of each eye lens goggle thing. This is the one that goes in between for the bridge of the nose, and then these shapes make kind of just stack on top of each other to make each side of the straps. And then of course there's attaching pieces in between each of these pieces, and then there's the bars that go in front of each lens or lack thereof. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, then there's those pieces, but I haven't really gotten how to measure it, so I think I'll do that after everything else is together. But yeah, these are basically the 3 main components, so yeah, I'm not going to make this pattern available to download because I don't know if it's gonna work. If it does, I might, but it'll probably, the size of what you want will depend on how big your face is and how big the base, my phone is ringing, the base lens you're using is. Speaking of lens, I'm going to be using the lenses from these cheap-ass sunglasses that I found at the dollar store-esque store. I know that Aizawa's glasses don't have lenses in them, but the reason why I choose to cosplay characters that have something obstructing their face is because whenever I post pictures online, I don't really want to have my friggin' full face out there. So yeah, that's just something that I do. So I decided that I want, for extra security, I want something behind them, and it'll make sense for that lens to be black, you know? So you can't see through them. I'm super distracted today, I'm so sorry. As you just saw it happen, the lenses can be easily pulled out, so I'm just going to be using this. The frame doesn't matter, but then again, it only costs like $1, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, I'm just going to be using these lens pieces. To construct the entire thing, I'm just going to be using this yellow fun foam. I am going to be coloring over it so that it looks less fun foamy. Yeah. Along with that, to support the structure, I'm going to be using this black cord. I have no idea what it's from, but I had it, so it's a flat black cord. I think if I glue these pieces on top of this, it'll hold the structure a whole lot better and it won't want to fall apart. And finally, to have the goggles fasten in place properly, I'm going to be using these large hook and eyes, originally meant to go on pants. They are the same kinds that I used for the Cynthia cosplay that I did a while back. To hold the entire thing together, I'm going to be using nothing but hot glue, and also to add more detail and dimension and to get all the colors right, I will be using acrylic paint. Well then, I guess we should get started. I still have no idea what I'm doing. First things first, I'm going to be cutting out each of the pieces that I made. I'm going to need 4 of these, 18 of these. I'm thinking only 1, but I'm going to cut 2 just in case because 1 might be a little bit too flimsy. We'll see how that turns out. But yeah, I'm just going to cut those pieces out. Okay, I decided what I want to do with these two pieces. I'm going to cut one of them in half and then glue it onto the second piece with a slight gap in the middle, and I'm gonna sort of scrape the middle part with an X-Acto knife to also have a shallow cut in there so that it can bend properly. I feel like that'll allow the pieces to be bent, I guess, across the bridge of my nose. You'll see what I mean. As for the lenses, I'm going to have them like this so that they're kind of pointing downwards, I guess, in a way. Together, they'll look like this. And then I'm going to take the triangular pieces and I'm going to be gluing this round side to each of the tops and the bottoms of each lens so that it looks like this. I'm just going to trim off the excess on the inner side that's going to be connected to each other, if you get what I mean. So each side of these straps should have 9 of these pieces each. So I just separated those into 2 different piles of 9, and I'm just going to deal with one at a time. Each piece should be facing in a way so that it looks like this, and they're going to overlap each other kind of like this, and I'm just going to glue all 9 pieces together. This is what they both look like now, and it really helps to sort of stack your second one and reference the first one as you glue so that you can get 2 of the same length that look pretty much identical. I measured the distance from here to here so that I can get a piece that lies across the 2 pieces like this, and this is what I got. And I'm going to cut out 4 of them so they can go here, and I can do the same thing for the other piece. As for the rest of the bars, here's what I came up with. This piece to go on the very end and cover up the fact that the lens ends there. A thin piece to go right next to that. A thicker piece to cover up right here. And a thinner piece to go right here. I have no idea where this one came from. We can just forget about that. I don't think I'll be able to see anything through these things. Now I pretty much have all the components to make the goggles look like goggles, functionality aside, so now I'm just going to assemble it to the best of my abilities. I knew something was gonna go wrong, oh my gosh. Okay, so I made 2 of these straps, but I glued one of them the opposite direction. I was supposed to flip them so they go the opposite way, but I didn't. Both of them went the same way, so I'm pretty sure a lot of you were watching me and already noticed this and were cringing and screaming at me to stop, but I didn't. So yeah, I need to cut out 9 more pieces of those, and I'm running out of yellow foam, so I'm gonna use a different color, so painting is definitely gonna become a necessary step. Obviously I was gonna plan to do so, because this stuff already looks like crap, but yeah. It's almost 11 p.m. I need to go to bed. I'll continue this tomorrow. Now here I've completed the overall shape of the goggles. As you can see, I clearly ran out of yellow foam, so I started using a different color. I completed the belt, and I added the part where it fastens in the back like this. And I also added a little bit more foam around the lenses so that the lenses aren't directly stuck to my eyeballs, and I should probably get rid of all these stringy hot glue pieces. Yep. So I realized I should probably cover this part with a piece of foam, but after I do that, the next step is going to be to paint over everything with several coats of yellow acrylic paint, so that I can hide all of the pen marks and all the imperfections and make it look like one solid color. I think I'll be painting most of the goggles yellow, and then I'm going to be painting these parts black so that they look a little bit more like goggles, and see how it looks after that. So, 3 days and 7 to 8 coats of paint and 2 coats of sealant later, we have ourselves, this mess. And, this is as far as I'm willing to work with this thing. This took forever, and, it's probably my fault because I had no plan, but it was painful, and I didn't like it. Pro tip for if you want to cover up pen lines using acrylic paint, don't just go over with a bunch of layers of acrylic paint like I did. Probably 4 of those 8 layers that I said I did were done in vain because they wouldn't cover up the pen layer. That's because the pen kind of seeps through the paint, kind of melts into it, and the lines just kind of show. So just add a layer of sealant over the pen areas. Sealant as in like maybe some varnish for clay projects. I just use Mod Podge. Either way, if there's a barrier in between the pen ink and the paint will have a much easier job covering up the pen marks. It's still not perfect, but it's much easier than using a bajillion layers of paint because it takes forever to dry and it's a waste of paint. As you can see here, I used masking tape to protect the hook and eyes. I also used it here, and I also used it on the lens so that I wouldn't get paint on them as I painted around them. So yeah, I think for not having a plan at all, this turned out pretty good. I did not bother to paint the inside because I didn't want the paint to peel off, and I didn't want to have chunks of acrylic paint in my hair. That would be gross, and it would take forever to wash out because acrylic paint does not melt in water. Oh, and remember how I said I was going to use some black cord at the beginning? I ended up not needing it because this thing holds together quite well. I thought it was going to start falling apart just because it was held together with glue, but nope. It's pretty solid. Maybe because it has like a bajillion layers of acrylic paint on it. I don't know. But yeah, I'm glad to say that this was done. This is over with, and it looks decent. It doesn't look like garbage, that's for sure. And if it's just gonna remain around my neck the entire time, no one's even gonna see it. Why did I make this thing again? I'm just glad this video is over. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something from it. I don't know. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye!